Hello, hello, and welcome again. This channel is called Aldsidu. Ald meaning old, Sidu meaning ways or customs. We reconstruct the historical faith of the Saxons and all the Germanic tribes, which includes the Scandinavians. So the Scandinavian peoples were Germanic peoples. And today we're going to discuss Sumbl, which is a drinking ritual. And the word Sumbl is attested even more than the word bloat in our Eddas and our Sagas and in our historical sources. Now, I will say before I get into what I'm going to discuss that some modern Scandinavian people will point out that Sumbl is often a word used for drinking today, but it's a noun in the historical sources. Our Old Saxon word for Sumbl is Sumbl. The Old English word in Beowulf is called Sumbl, and Sumbl is our Old Icelandic word in Heimskringla used by Snorri and the other Icelandic sources. Now I'm going to explain modern views of Sumbl first, and then I'm going to show passages from the lore showing how historical Sumbl was done in the historical sources. My main sources include Beowulf, lines 49 through 675, and Heimskringla Olaf Saga Tryggvasonar, chapter 35, as these are two very long and detailed passages showing how Sumbl was done historically and what Sumbl was about. Now, at the end of this video, I will read Olaf Saga Tryggvasonar chapter 35. In my blog article, I have my translation of all of Beowulf 49 through 675 up, as well as Heimskringla Olaf Saga Tryggvasonar. Another great example of a Yule bloat in Sumbl, that's one for Yule, obviously, is Håkon the Good, chapters 15 through 16. In some translations, though, I've seen it as chapters 13 through 14. For some reason, the Norse sources are not always chaptered and verse broke up the same way. Now, let me give an example of how modern Asatru teaches Sumbl. So the largest Asatru group in America is called the Asatru Community. And in their website about Sumbl, they state, Sumbl appears to be quite simple. It primarily consists of a filled drinking horn being passed from person to person and each in turn making a toast. It also says in Sumbl, people are usually seated in a ring or a circle and the horn moves around the circle multiple times, 3 rounds being the most common. So, that is how Sumbl is taught by Asatru, and if you look in Beowulf verses 489 through 675 and Heimskringla Olaf Tryggvasonar Saga chapter 35, you will see that historical Sumbl is extremely different. Now there are more examples in the lore of Sumbl, obviously, than just those two, but those are the two most detailed passages. And you know, the Sumbl in the historical sources is nothing like what the Asatru community claims it is. So what are the myths of Sumbl? Well, one, that there should be one drinking horn that everyone uses. Now, in this pandemic time, the sharing of spit is not wise because we're just going to pass around COVID in a circle. So believe it or not, in Beowulf, the Hellion, Lokasenna, Håkon the Good Saga, and Heimskringla, they do not show a central horn being passed in a circle that everyone drinks out of. Everyone has their own cups and steins in all of the examples of Sumbl that we have. And everyone should have their own, and everyone should be able to boast or toast at random at any time. Now, the next myth is that the Sumbl order should be circular. A lot of Asatru groups say that we do it in a Celtic circle, is what they say. But, you know, Europe is multicultural, and it was multicultural, multi-religious, and multilingual even in heathen times. So Germanic heathenry is not the same as Celtic heathenry, which is not the same as Slavic heathenry, which is not the same as Basque heathenry, which is not the same as Greek paganism, etc., etc., etc. You know, these are all different. There are different gods, there are different rituals, there are different holidays. A long while ago, thousands of years ago, there was a Proto-Indo-European people, but as time continued, you know, the Proto-Indo-European language developed into many modern languages and modern culturals. And Europe has many countries today, and Europe is multilingual today and multicultural today. So the idea of a Celtic circle in a Germanic or Scandinavian ritual in itself is interesting. Um, but Sumbl certainly is not circular in order. So again, it's a myth that there should be one drinking horn. It's a myth that the order is circular and people sit in a circle. Germanic mead halls, wine halls, beer halls did not have people just sitting in a circle. Another myth is that you must use a drinking horn. The word skallen in Old Saxon and the Germanic languages, which is the word that means drinking bowl or drinking cup, is not in of itself a horn. So there are horns, there are drinking cups, there are steins. Even the toast, skal or skål, comes from the word drinking cup. So when you lift that cup, you're making a toast or a boast. And that's when one would say skal in Old Saxon or skål in the Scandinavian languages. So to say that there were only drinking horns is in itself strange when you have the word skål being used. Mead, this is a myth. Mead is the alcoholic beverage that must be used in Sumbl. Believe it or not, at least in the attested Old Saxon poetry, there are no mead halls. There are only the word wine halls. Now, I have no doubt the Saxons knew what mead was, so I'm not saying that someone didn't use the phrase mead hall, but wine in Germany was absolutely hands down the drink of the nobility. And in Beowulf, we have mead halls and beer halls. So, we have multiple names for halls. So to say that mead is the only beverage used when we have ale halls and beer halls and mead halls and wine halls, it just proves that mead is not the only beverage that one can use. Today, we all have our own favorite drinks. The same was true with humans back in pre-Christian heathen times and heathen places. People have their own tastes, and again, wine hall and beer halls just proves that there were multiple forms of drink. So we have ale in Old Saxon text. We have lithes, or lith, which would be fruit wine, apple wine, so ciders, ales, wines were probably far more common, especially, in German lands themselves. Now, what are the facts of Sumbl? So one, Sumbl includes yelps and boats. So basically toasts and boasts. Sumbl begins with prayers to the gods and goddesses, toasting to the ancestors. It also contains a bragaful. So in the saga of Ragnar Lothbrok, for example, there's a bragaful in that Sumbl. So that modern Assatru has no idea, especially since a lot of people come into heathenry from the TV show, and I'm not saying that that's wrong per se, but how many people that watch the TV show have actually read the saga of Ragnar Lothbrok and the saga of the sons of Ragnar Lothbrok, which are two different sagas. And, in it, there's a bragaful during the Sumbl there. And steins, cups, and horns are used, and they symbolize the well of word, because Sumbl is about boasting of the past, toasting of the gods' great deeds, and making boasts that you will continue to do good deeds in the future. So it is about word, or Urther in the Nornir, and the well of word, because we all want to have a great future. And the idea behind Sumbl is that our future would be as glorious as what our past ancestors accomplished. Now, the lady of the hall pouring the wine, cider, mead, or other drink represents the Norns, or to the Saxon shapers. So the Norns watered the Irminsul daily, or Yggdrasil, bringing the past back to the present. And we have positions in Sumbl, like the Sumbl Gefa is the host of Sumbl. He's the one giving the Sumbl. It's his hall. He's paying in a sense for the feast. His servants are cooking the food, and it's his hall. So he's the one giving the Sumbl, and he's the one that makes the bragaful or bragaful. The ale bearer is usually the lady of the hall, the wife of the Sumbl giver, and she bears the horn, or the stein, or the drinking bowl that she gives to the Sumbl giver, and she typically opens Sumbl by saying, "May word do as she shall." She also ensures that the cupbearers, who are all females, that they do their job. Because in a Germanic or Scandinavian wine hall, word in the Nornir, they're female beings. And there are far more vulvas in the sagas and Eddas and historical sources than there are Sathermen, as in male seers, so to speak. So there was this Germanic Scandinavian belief in pre-Christian times that the women were closer to the Nornir and could predict it and understand the future better. And we have Thiles. In the poem Beowulf, Umferth is a Thyle, and he challenges Beowulf because Beowulf makes an oath, and the Thyle's job is to make sure that an oath is not made that can't be accomplished. So basically what Umferth was doing was challenging Beowulf to make sure that, it's not a vow that's going to go undone. So the tradition of flighting, foolhardy vows or boast, was very important because an unkept vow has extremely negative consequences to the community taking part in the Sumbl. Now, Woden, or Odin, appears as Thyle in the Havamal, verse 80 and 111. A Thyle must be someone of great wisdom, and Odin was obviously one of great wisdom. There's also a Skop, who recites poetry and song. There could be several Skops, actually. Skald would be the Old Norse equivalent. Skop is really Old English. The ancient tales of the group call forth the group's collective word. The tales sung by the Skops serve as a gelp for the group present. So these are facts about how historical Sumbl was done. Now, some good books. Of course, the best books are the Eddas and the Sagas, but Eric Woodning in his article in Anglo-Saxon Sumbl, Stephen Powlington in his academic work, The Mead Hall, and Paul Baschatz's academic work, The Well and the Tree, are good places to look. And of course, read Beowulf and Heimskringla. So a typical Sumbl order, that there's an entrance of guests into the hall, there's seating, the Sumbl giver seats each person and welcomes each person into the hall. Of course, the ale barrow does a fore speech, and then the Sumbl giver does. There's a bragoful. Sometimes, even at the end, there could be a bragoful. There's gift giving. For example, Beowulf received gifts from Hrothgar during the Sumbl in the poem Beowulf. The Skop certainly sings songs. I say optional for today's, but in historical Sumbl, the Skalds and Skops sang songs of praise. And of course, there was boasting, toasting, and oathing done at random. And then, of course, there's a final mini to the ancestors, which is a remembrance to the ancestors when the random boasting, toasting, and oathing comes to an end. Now, I'm going to read Sumbl in Heimskringla Ola Saga Tryggvasonar, chapter 35. King Sven held a magnificent Sumbl and called to him all the ruling class that were in his kingdom. He was going to commemorate his father, Harold. There also had died shortly before this, Strutharaldr, on Skani and Vesti in Brogengolholmer, Father Bruidrigi and Sigurður. The king then sent word to the Joms Vikings that Jarl Sigvaldi and Bui and their brothers should come there and commemorate their fathers at Sumbl that the king was holding. So basically what's going on here is that several had their fathers die that year, and they were going to, as leaders, hold a great Sumbl. And the Joms Vikings went to the Sumbl with the most valiant of their men. They had 40 ships from Vidland and 20 ships from Skani. There assembled there a very large number of men. The first day at Sumbl before King Sven was to go up to his father's high seat. He drank his toast and made a vow that before 3 winters had passed, he would come with his army to England and have King Athelrather, or driven him from the country. So he's either going to kill this king or drive him from the country. Everyone who was at Sumbl had to drink that toast. Then the leaders of the Joms Vikings were served the largest horns. So here's plural. There's plenty of horns with the strongest drink that was there. And when the toast had been drunk, then everyone had to drink the Christ toast. So obviously there's some Christianization going on. And the Joms Vikings were always given the fullest and strongest drinks. The third one was at Mikjal's toast, and everyone drank that. And after that, Jarl Sigvaldi drank in his father's toast, and everyone drank that. And after Jarl Sigvaldi drank his father's toast, he made a vow that before 3 winters were passed, he would come to Norway and kill Jarl Håkon or drive him from the country. Then his brother Thorkel, Havi, made a vow. They would go with Sigvaldi to Norway and not flee in battle if Sigvaldi was still fighting. And I think I'm going to stop here, but you can see, look at all the vows that are made. Buidrigi makes a vow. Then his brother Sigurður makes a vow. And then Vagan Akason made a vow. I mean, this keeps going. Then many other leaders made vows. So there's certainly not 3 rounds. They're certainly not passing it in a drink. There's memorials or minis to the ancestors that I was talking about. These are all very important parts of historical Sumbl. Now, for the Old Saxon fans here, we do have a mention of Sumbl in Old Saxon literature, verses 3334 through 3340. Sumbl is an Old Saxon drinking ritual that always took place in the wine hall, or mead hall, or beer hall, or ale hall. The rituals toasted the gods and goddesses, toasted the ancestors, and boasting and making oaths were also done. So hey, if you like this video, please check out our website at aldsidu.com. We have a blog, about 110 or so blog articles up on many subjects, all well sourced. The Eddas and the Sagas are quoted much. Please like and subscribe to this video. Spread the word. Thank you so much.